Everybody ready? Okay. Good evening. We're going to call the council meeting of, excuse me, Monday, February 10th to order. We're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and observe a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Sabosley, if you would take roll call.
Okay, we're going to start with our junior council people. Adam Smith.
Here.
Mercy Newell.
Here.
Councilman Dern.
Here.
Councilman Majernik.
Here.
Councilman Purcell. Here. Vicky Rossler is absent tonight. Councilman Schlock.
Here.
Councilman Seitz. Here. Councilman Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Schlegel.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. To start off, I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report for the month of January. I have a motion by Mr. Schlock on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Purcell. Any discussion, comments? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next off, motion to approve the expenses for the month of January. I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Taylor. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Schlock. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. A motion to approve the minutes of the January council meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion presented by Mr. Majernik. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Recognition of achievements in the community.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know they're out there, but no one has contacted me about for this month. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Civic announcements? No one? President's comments. I think, Mr. Sabosley, you have two things, please.
I do. Thank you. So we're in early February here, and everyone at home is starting to think about their projects for the summertime. If you're looking to build anything, deck, steps, shed, driveway, driveway doesn't need a permit, but I just would ask that you reach out if you have any questions to our community development department. They're more than happy to meet with you, help you figure out what path you need to go down, and talk about any roadblocks that you may have. So feel free to call, stop in. We want to help move your project along as fast as we can. Item number 2, just a reminder that if you remember last year was our military banner program had returned after a little bit of an absence. We are working to get that back on our website at the end of the month. We'll be taking orders for new banners. There's plenty of room on the poles. We're also working with our vendor. If you remember, the pictures last year were a little bit hard to see up on the poles. So we're looking to get something that is actually the same size banner, but something that has a bigger picture on that. So look for that to come back up on our website at the end of February, and I think the orders will be cut off probably toward the end of April so that we can get them up and running with our Proud and Plum volunteer toward the end of May. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Okay, citizens' comments on agenda items. Okay, that moves us into council motions, and we're going to start with Mr. Majernik, Planning and Economic Development, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt resolution number 1022-25, granting preliminary final approval for the Ritter Plan of Lots FSC-07-24, conditioned upon the applicant addressing all comments from the KU Resources Compliancy Review Letter dated December 23rd, 2024 to the satisfaction of the borough engineer.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second from Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to enact ordinance number 986-25, accepting the dedication of lot and block 973-C-219, Unit 1 from Pam Lynn Enterprises, contingent upon proof of payment of all taxes.
Motion on the floor, do I have a second? Second. I have a second by Mr. Seitz. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to accept a proposal from Paschek and MTR dated October 2nd, 2024 for services related to a new implementable comprehensive plan.
Motion on the floor, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Purcell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt resolution number 1023-25, providing municipal approval of a sewage planning module for the PennDOT New Ken Driver Center, contingent upon the property owner entering into a standard O&M agreement for the maintenance of the facility.
Motion on the floor, do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Seitz. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to award the bid for the demolition of 7906 Salzburg Road to the low bidder, Litterman Excavating, in the amount of $13,500.
Motion on the floor, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That concludes my motion.
Thank you, Mr. Majernik. Brings us to Mr. Seitz, behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Dern. On behalf of the Personnel Management Committee, I move to adopt Resolution 1024-25, setting the 2026 salary for the real estate tax collector.
A motion on the floor, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel Management Committee, I move to hire Quinn Daly as an IT support specialist at a rate of $62,000 per year effective February 11th, 2025.
Motion on the floor, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Purcell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And I do see him in the audience. If you want to come up and introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Quinn. Pleasure to be working with you, and I hope and I'm excited to meet everybody and get to know everyone's names and help with IT, and hopefully not too many problems, but I'm excited to get through it.
Well, welcome aboard. Sure, Jason's happy to have you.
Welcome. Oh, he'll tell you, I'm the guy that comes in and say, fix.
That's my job, right?
You have to deal with Mr. Taylor's iPad, but you can deal with
Never
that.
been used. Still a box. Better than
All right. Also on behalf of the Personnel Management Committee, I move to approve the 2025 staff salaries.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second. Any discussion? Second was by Mr. Majernik. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel Management Committee, I move to approve the settlement and release agreement for litigation at Allegheny County docket number GD 19-001027.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Schlock. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to table the appointment to the Zoning Hearing Board.
Motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Schlock again. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to approve the revised job description and authorize the advertisement for a part-time custodian.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Purcell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to approve the revised job description and authorize the advertisement for a supervisor for roads and infrastructure.
I have a motion presented on the floor. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And finally, on behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to accept a proposal from Rob Consulting dated December 18th, 2024, for services related to a fire services strategy plan.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Purcell. Any discussion? The only thing I'd like to add to that we did talk about all this with the fire departments, and they are all in agreement to do this. So we're working together as one, and this is something that needs to be done, and everybody's in agreement with that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, that ends your report, sir?
Yes, that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, there's nothing tonight for public safety, nor parks and recreation, nor finance. So that moves us to Mr. Purcell, behalf of the roads, equipment, and grounds.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dern. On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to award the 2025 paving contract for the base bid only to Tresco Paving in the amount of $680,255 as recommended by the borough engineer.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to approve change order number 1 in the amount of $45,927.83 for the Abers Creek Culvert Replacement Project as recommended by the borough engineer. This change order will be paid by the Plum Boro Municipal Water Authority.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to approve change order number 2 in the amount of $102,066.81 for the Abers Creek Culvert Replacement Project, as recommended by the borough engineer. This change order will be paid by the Plum Boro Municipal Authority.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? I'll second it. I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to approve the 2025 asset disposition list.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second by Mr. Seitz. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to approve the advertisement of the Barnes Road Improvement Project.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. So that brings us to the next part, and we are going to do the engineer's report. Oh, we want to do the mayor first? Oh, doggone it. Okay, Mayor, you're up.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Last month, our uniformed patrol officers responded to 968 calls for service during the month of January, and that's about par for what we've done in the previous months. The officers, if you'll notice, our police officers are now clean shaven. They went November and December with no shave, and they made donations. And that came to an end at the end of January. The amount that they donated to the senior center was $2,135, so they could grow beards for November, December, and January. Some of them should keep the beards, they look better. And thoughtful citizens. On January 10th, William Jeffcoat, who's with the Marine Corps League, the Toys R Tots provided 2 large bags of stuffed animals for our officers to hand out to children on calls for service. On January 10th, the police department received handmade holiday cards and a $75 gift card to Dunkin' Donuts from the students at Pivot Elementary School. On January 20th, Michael Cerniglia of Michael's Painting provided donuts from Oakmont Bakery to our officers for their continued service to our community. January 27th, personnel from the Cares of Western Pennsylvania organization delivered an assortment of homemade baked goods in recognition of our officers' continued service. And on January 30th, our officers were invited to attend the Holy Family Catholic School, St. John's, for breakfast with the students. And that's it on that. However, there was, and I'm going to ask for our borough manager or someone, there was an article or a news story on the, about, I guess, an enterprising group of farmers or an enterprising farmer has come up with, because of the price of eggs, of renting chickens, renting hens. You can get 2 hens and they provide a coop and feed. Now, my understanding is that applies here. You still have to have 2 acres, whether you rent them or own them, correct?
You do, and believe
Here
it
we
or
go.
not, we had someone come to the zoning hearing board who wanted to rent chickens from this exact vendor before. So, yeah, property owners are required to have 2 acres of land to have chickens.
Okay, I thought so, because I had someone contact me about it if they saw the article or the news story, and I told them the same thing. Thank you. And that's all I have for this month. Next month, stand by.
Thank you so very much. That brings us to the engineer's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll just touch on a few things that KU Resources, as the engineers, have been working on and what's going on in the community. As you probably see through the motions, we've been working closely with Plum regarding a bunch of land developments, subdivision applications throughout the past month. Regarding some residential development throughout the borough, Parkside Estates Phase 3 continues construction. They paved the roadway to Phase 3 during this past fall, and we anticipate final utilities are installed and potentially homes being constructed within the near future. The housing plan of, it's actually a PRD of Patriot Estates. They've broken ground on construction. They're starting grading, starting on some sanitary sewer installation, and construction will be continuing on that development. Some other capital improvement projects we've been working on. As Mr. Purcell indicated, that the Barnes Road slide will be advertised here. Tentatively, we'll be opening bids on March 20th. That's to fix a slide area along Barnes Road, and that will be hopefully constructed this summer. Other projects we've been working on is moving a leaf compost site from the old location at the old Borough Building to Larry Mills Park. We've worked closely with the 2025 Plum paving program. Mr. Purcell also indicated Tresco was the low bidder at $680,255, which was good numbers for the borough. The Holiday Park Phase 2.5 was recently constructed this past fall. Some restoration has to be completed, but that was to fix a storm sewer that was failing between Blue Ridge Road down to Tivoli. The contractor did a good job on that project. Also, the Abers Creek Culvert project, that's really from the Abers Creek Road along Holiday Park Drive down to an existing stream that was successfully completed by W.A. Petrakis. That project involved a lot of different, the water authority, the gas company working together, and I know the road's a mess right now, but in the end, we have a lot of new infrastructure. We'll only have to mess up the road one time to fix all the problems. Other than that, there's some other miscellaneous projects we continue to work on, but those are the main highlights.
Thank you, Mr. Prokopik. Brings us to the junior council report.
Thanks, Mr. Dern. At the high school, winter sports will be wrapping up this week. The girls and boys basketball teams both made it to playoffs, and multiple swimmers and wrestlers are set to head to Whitfields and hopefully to state championships. The competition cheer team attended states and are currently competing at nationals. The high school also held a sports commitment signing day on February 5th. Athletes that committed on this day include Josh Curry, TJ Futulis, and Noah Odom to Ashland University, and Nicholas Odom to Delaware Valley University, all to play football, as well as Caitlin Weiss to play soccer at Allegheny College, and Gage Adenolfrey to play soccer at Penn State Barron, and Trent Reese to wrestle at UNC Pembroke. Spring sports begin tryouts in the beginning of next month. This includes baseball, softball, girls and boys lacrosse, track and field, and the second year of the girls flag football team.
So on January 30th, Plum High School hosts its annual Career Day, featuring 160 presenters who shared insights about their professions. This event provided an invaluable opportunity for students to engage with professionals in their field of interest, gaining firsthand knowledge and inspiration for their future careers. This past Thursday, the high school held its curriculum night, where incoming freshmen had the chance to meet their future teachers and explore the wide range of elective courses available to them. And other exciting news, our Plum Air Force Junior ROTC program recently underwent a unit inspection and it earned an outstanding score of 95.5 out of 100, solidifying its place as one of the top JRTC units in the country. And for those who are counting down, there is just 107 days until graduation.
That's a good number. Thank you both, Adam, Mercy, for the report. Very good. Okay, that brings us, excuse me, to committee reports. The intergovernmental meeting, we got canceled. That'll be rescheduled maybe in March.
We're trying to reschedule for March, yes.
Okay. Personnel Committee, Mr. Seitz, please.
Thank you, Mr. Sturm. Just two things tonight. Applications have been received for the laborer truck driver position. Staff is in the process of reviewing and selecting the top applicants who will take the written exam in the coming weeks. And secondly, as we've already mentioned, we would like to welcome Quinn Daly to the borough staff, who's working as an IT support specialist. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Schlock, Finance.
Thanks, Mr. President. Mayor Dusso, our independent auditor, is currently performing field work associated with the 2024 audit. It includes auditing all borough funds and the real estate tax office. We expect to receive a draft audit report for review during the month of April. Fiscal year 2024, the borough has a tax anticipation note with Dollar Bank totaling $1.5 million. To date, we have yet to draw down any funds, but expect to possibly draw during Q3. For the month of January, general fund revenues totaling $480,913 and expenditures were $1,676,276. Some of the larger expenses that were not employee related for the period were general insurance, $171,431, contracted collection services, $198,258, police uniform allowance, $29,000, street light electricity, $28,971, and police liability insurance, $53,770. And that's all I have, Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Schlock. Mr. Purcell, Roads, Equipment and Grounds.
Thank you, Mr. Dern. Roads, Equipment and Grounds, I only have two. The Public Works Department was very busy with the winter road maintenance this month. There were 13 days of winter weather with approximately 3,400 tons of road salt used during the month. The crews have been removing low-hanging branches on various roads that could potentially cause damage to our plow trucks. And I would like to also add that I'd received 3 comments from residents stating how pleased they were with the job the road department was doing with the winter weather. Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay. Ms. Rossler's not here, but she gave me something that she would like me to read tonight. On behalf of council the mayor, and the entire Plum community. I would like to thank all 4 fire departments for keeping Plum Boro safe and for your continuing commitment to be a positive force in the community. Last year, council and staff developed a strong relationship with the PBMA and the fire departments. Several meetings were held to improve communication and enhance training opportunities and public safety. Here are some of the accomplishments from 2024. Hydraulic modeling. This was developed and completed by KU Resources, which gave us a comprehensive hydraulic model for the Plum Boro water system, usually using the newly acquired Bentley Water Gem software. The software analyzed and calculated flow rates for more than 600 fire hydrants throughout the network. A detailed map was distributed to the Plum Boro Municipal Authority and the fire departments, highlighting optimal hydrant locations. This initiative aimed to enhance public safety by providing critical information for more effective emergency response. Hydrant painting. In 2024, the Plum Boro Municipal Authority painted the tops of more than 600 fire hydrants to indicate their flow capacity within the Plum Boro water service area. Stores, fire hydrant fittings. The Plum Boro Municipal Authority will continue to install these adapters to all new fire hydrants in the borough. The stores connection allows the fire departments to connect its pumper hoses to the hydrant, and with a quick quarter-turn action, the action is fast and smooth so firefighters can get to their task quickly without the thread alignment, cross-threading, or leakage problems sometimes associated with threaded connections. Friends of the Fire Department. Council created this community group to help support the fundraising efforts of all 4 fire departments. The stipend program. This test program was created to ensure coverage and decrease response times for fire calls received during typical work hours on weekdays. And last year was a big year and we accomplished a lot. Council will continue its support in the new year, and thanks you all for all you do for the residents and businesses in Plum Boro. And along that line, just to give everybody a reminder, March 5th is Ash Wednesday, and Holiday Park will be conducting their fish fry that day. And then every Friday during the month of Lent, Logan's Ferry, Renton, and Holiday Park will do their fish fries. And Mr. Maloney is here. He can continue the report with the EMS.
Thank you. Brian Maloney, Director of Operations, Plum EMS, and as always, I appreciate the opportunity to be up here talking. I apologize for missing the January's meeting, but an illness got me. It took me out of service for a little bit, but I'm glad to be here. But just so you know, December was a record-setting month for us for the number of trips we ended up transporting patients to the hospital. It was at 192 transports, which we've never done that before until last month. And so it's been absolutely chaotic at Plum EMS past couple months. The crews believe that someone dropped off about 10,000 sick people in Plum, told them all to call 911 over the next couple months. And so for January, we ended up responding to 316 calls, transported 207 patients. The crews were nonstop. It was unbelievable. They ended up responding to neighboring communities 22 times, transported 18 of those patients. And we needed Plum, or mutual aid, to come into Plum 24 times. And so 92.4% of the time EMS was needed in the community, Plum EMS was there. But no matter what, 100% of the people got taken care of. So very proud of all of them. Now, all of you should have received in the mail from us as well, or an email. Subscriptions have started. The membership or subscription to Plum EMS, that pretty much is $20 for an individual. I think it's $30 for a family or a household. And what that does is, if you ever need our services, after we bill your insurance, whatever's left over, we deduct by 50%. I know I sound like a car commercial when I say this, but it will literally save you hundreds of dollars. And the other nice thing with that as well is that you get 6 free lift assists throughout the year. So if you end up falling, or your family member does, and you have a tough time getting that person up onto their feet, you can call 911. We'll show up, we'll provide that lift assist. Almost 100% of the time, we'll double check vital signs to make sure that wasn't the reason why that person fell. And you can do that 6 free times throughout the year. We also have 2 free CPR classes that you get, which one CPR class is $40. So once again, saving some money there. But that's our way of trying to say to the community, hey, we want you to learn CPR. We're willing to do this for free as a subscriber. We also have discounted rate for wheelchair van services. And if we ever do show up at your house and say you are having an issue and we end up put you on our cardiac monitor or 12 lead, if there is a fee associated with that, we will deduct that by 50% because insurances don't touch that. So just keep a lookout for that. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give our station a call. Now, throughout the last month, other than running emergency calls, we also had an opportunity to go to the breakfast at the Holy Family Catholic School. And I don't know why I ended up sitting at the kindergarten table. And I forgot how many juice boxes I had to open up and straws I had to get. But it was a very nice time. But we ended up conducting 4 CPR trainings, 2 of which were for the Plum Police Department. We did 5 car seat safety checks, gave away 1 free car seat to a family in need. I conducted the semi-annual in-depth AED checks of the Plum Police Department. And we also, I'm not sure if you saw in the news, Plum EMS even participated in a lead role during an Allegheny County EMS legislation forum, which we invited senators and representatives from Allegheny County for the state to come hear some of the concerns and challenges that EMS has. And so I had the opportunity, because I've been taking a lead role with the state, challenging insurance companies to start putting on a fee schedule. Because there are some insurance companies that don't pay us or pay us less than Medicare rates, which that doesn't even cover the cost of pulling a truck out of the garage, and to sit there and say and establish a fee schedule. So we had an opportunity to do that, take a lead role, and even this past Monday I was in Harrisburg once again meeting with representatives and insurance representatives to try to figure out how can we achieve this. Because a lot of services in the county and even throughout the Commonwealth don't get support like we have here at Plum EMS from the community. But before we could sit there and say to the communities, we need funding, we need money, we have to understand insurance companies have to do their part. And so we're asking for everybody to get their support for this statewide fee schedule. And so we're doing a really big push for that. So very proud of that. And I did have an opportunity to speak with Councilwoman Rossler this morning. She does not sound well, but what she wanted me to remind everybody is that do not hesitate. If you ever need EMS, don't be embarrassed, don't be ashamed, call 911. We're gonna show up, we're gonna treat you good. I always say and tell patients that we have some of the best caregivers this side of the Mississippi working at Plum EMS, and that's not a lie. We will take good care of you, we'll be respectful, and we won't parade around your neighborhood saying, look, we got Mona in the back of our truck or anything like that. So we do the best we can. So questions, comments, a little story to make me smile, and I promise Mike Doyle I'd also say any finger gestures.
Quick question.
Yes.
Do you have the dates set for the CPR courses that you're going to give?
We do a monthly class. It's the 3rd Thursday of the month. It's at 6 p.m. They can pretty much email or call the station to get registered, to find out information. And then we always just double check and we make sure that there's no fees attached to that. But honestly, like our numbers, like even this month, we've already got our next class, which is February 20th, full to the point where I need more space. And so luckily Mona's been able to help me out with the banquet room if it's available. But it's majority of the people from the community doing these classes. So it's also neat to be able to show off the banquet room when we do this. Perfect. So anything else?
Right. One other question. On the back of the subscription form, in case anyone else was wondering this, where it says list the family members. Do you want just the people that are living in the house at that time? Or, for instance, if a person might be babysitting grandchildren 10 hours a day, should they be listed, or is it just the folks that actually live there?
Just list the members of that household that live there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Anything else? All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Great report. Brings us to Mr. Majernik, Planning and Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. Dern. The Planning and Economic Development Report. The Planning Department issued 44 permits. Code enforcement completed 71 residential and apartment occupancy inspections. They also addressed and inspected 15 violations and complaints for junk and debris, abandoned vehicles, vacant structures, rodents, occupancy violations, and illegal dumping. 8 violation letters have been sent out. Staff met with the Planning and Economic Development Committee to discuss implementing the comprehensive plan and are creating an emergency operation plan for the 2025 U.S. Open Golf Tournament. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor, Parks and Rec.
Thank you, Mr. President. The playgrounds at multiple parks were routinely checked. Bi-monthly safety inspections also were completed. The AED units that we moved for winter storage to prevent damage will be reinstalled by March. A meeting was held to discuss the 2025 sports season schedule and field maintenance, attended by borough personnel and the sports representatives. For recycling, as a reminder, DEP Act 101 of 1998 requires commercial, institutional, and municipal establishments to recycle high-grade office paper, corrugated paper, aluminum, and leaf waste. Compliance letters were mailed out to all businesses in the borough. These letters should be filled out and returned to the Borough Recycling Committee by February 15th. Our recycling committee participated in the Pop It and Drop It program for the Ronald McDonald House. 539 pounds of pull tabs were collected, which is equivalent to 682,913 tabs. The program will continue in 2025, and tabs will be dropped off during the regular business hours at the municipal building, in addition to various local businesses. Upcoming spring events. At our meeting, we talked, at the Parks and Rec meeting, we discussed the registration that is open for breakfast with the Easter Bunny being held on April 12th in the banquet hall. Visit plumboro.com to register. April 19th is Borough Cleanup Day. More information coming soon. May 3rd is Youth Fishing Day down at Plum Creek Park, and May 17th is Walking and Wagging, our first dog walk. More details also will be coming soon. And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Brings us to citizens' comments on non-agenda items. Anybody wish to speak? No? Okay. I need a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion on the floor from Mr. Schlock for adjournment. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Berjernik. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.